Hey everybody, it's Mark Wiley with the Mark Wiley Group here at Keller Williams Realty Southwest. We're going to bring you another market update. It is Thursday, April 30th, 2020. And so let's dive right into this. I'm going to pull my report up for you guys to see. And overall, I would say it's positive. Nothing super exciting to talk about, but I would say that we're trending in the right direction. For those that don't recall, this report is really showing you single family homes here in the Valley. We do back out condos, townhomes, and high-rise, mostly because the single-family homes are really the key indicator for us to monitor that inventory in particular, since it's the majority of the sales. So looking at the inventory, it looks like the numbers have really stayed the same over the last few weeks within, 50 to 60 homes. So we're at 5947 for active inventory on the market. And a good sign here is new homes, or I should say homes under contract in the last 7 days, 566. Yeah, that number's gone up nicely since the 2 weeks ago. We saw the long time low for not just a year, but for quite some time. And so we're rebounding nicely on that. Again, that's homes put into contract over the last 7 days, 566. Other factors here that we've been watching is homes that closed in the past 7 days, 383. That's definitely a seasonal low, annual low as well. And we're not sure why. I mean, there's a lot of deals that were extended due to unemployment issues or COVID issues. And so, seeing that we still have 566 going under contract clearly shows that down the road, that number is not going to be remaining as low as that 383. So not too alarmed by that right now. We just want to keep seeing this under contract number going up. If you look at previous months, you can see where we are compared to where we should be. So again, we're now in what was normally a peak season, and January, February, it's when it really starts to increase. March is when we really kind of hit the beginning of the season. So at about 1,000 to 1,100 homes under contract per week back then, we're definitely falling quite short of that number. However, we are on the rise, and we should get back to those kind of numbers hopefully next month. Also, let's look at the median sales price. Right now, we're at 306,800. This one's been a bit of a roller coaster for us, the last few weeks. We've been consistently hovering in that 300 to 325 range, more so in that 310 to 320. So we're not far off, and I would say that this isn't really telling us too much. So let's move on to what's really important here. The good news is we're seeing a really nice number of new listings, despite the fact that people aren't supposed to be out. What they're doing is they're spending their time at home, and they're prepping their homes for sale. So this number right here is, again, about 50% of what we'd like to see on an average week as far as new listings hitting the market, but it is consistent with the buyer demand. So our inventory isn't going too crazy one way or the other. We're not going to go into an extreme shortage right now. We're not going to go into an abundance of inventory to drive the price down. I mean, our inventory level at 6,000 homes on the market is about half of what we would typically like to see in a normal market. However, we're not in a normal market. So what's to say that 6,000 isn't the right number right now? As long as these numbers, the under contracts and the new listings, are relatively the same, we're going to have a competitive market. If all of a sudden we see an influx in new listings, but the buyers under contract does not increase with it, then we might start to see a saturated market if the inventory climbs by the thousands. But we're far from that right now. I think right now it's more important just to watch where they are going with the pricing. And if you want to look at that, we look at the price reductions here, 517 this week. Also, that number, it's up a little bit. It's a little elevated, but we got to look for a trend in that. And so far, the trend has been pretty consistent that we're not seeing a drastic number of price reductions. What does that mean? It means that sellers aren't feeling like they need to reduce the price. They feel like based on the buyer demand, the number of showings they're getting, that they're priced properly to sell the home. If we start to see that number increase, we might start to see more buyer activity where they're asking for concessions, which would be things like paying for the home warranty, covering the buyer's closing costs, maybe a delayed closing or a rent back situation. There's a lot of different things that could be asked for. So we'll see what happens over the coming weeks. The good sign that we're seeing within our team is that the activity is still happening, meaning we're still on the phone every day with our buyers, not talking about, are we going to just cancel this and move forward next year? It's more about like they're itching to get out there. We talk daily about what homes they like online, but we're not scheduling showings unless they really need to put an offer in today so they're in the house by sometime at the end of May. If they're just kind of kicking tires, we do a lot of extensive conversation and comparison of photos, try and answer as many questions as we can over the phone or through a Zoom interview. That way, when they are ready to pull the trigger, whether that's as soon as the isolation orders are lifted, restrictions are eased, I think a lot of our buyers are going to want to get out there and look at homes immediately when that happens. The good news is we also have a lot of sellers who are thinking the same thing. Right now, they're sitting at home, they're either decluttering, they're getting rid of the things that they said they've been trying to get rid of for years. They're doing touch-up work to the house to get it show ready. We're talking a lot about staging and prepping for our photos. So we're doing a lot of marketing efforts right now to prep our sellers so that when we do have these ease restrictions, we anticipate that the buyer activity is going to be very heavy. And we want to make sure our inventory is ready to show them on day one. We're trying to make sure we're ahead of the curve so that we're not playing catch up while buyers are writing contracts on other homes. So that's our report for this week. I hope you enjoy it and found it useful. If you guys do have questions, you want to reach out to me directly, feel free to text or call me at 702-499-1915, or you can email me at mark@markwileyrealty.com. I appreciate you watching. Please feel free to share this with your friends and stay safe out there. Take care.